Major pain. Like a major pain. I'm somewhat irritated at this point. Nice new connecting rods. Really expensive connecting rods. Odd length, $5.85. I'm like, okay, so I can finally get this engine built. Not so much. If you look at the spec card says all the right numbers. Then Junior looks at the rod, and the rod has an SJ on there. Well, SJ is small journal. This ain't. So, once again, engine 1, Todd 0.
That would actually mean engine 2 or 3, Todd 0 is a grand total.
Once again, I said. So
yes.
That would be once
again. But once again, I mean, what's the grand total now? What are we up to? Engine.
I don't know, this some bitch is about got me. So now nobody has them in stock. So now I've had to order regular rods for 2100 pin. They'll take these back. That's not a problem. But I can't build my engine. So, and I mean the clock is ticking because I won't have time here pretty quick. If I don't get it done, I'm shit out of luck. If you want to see why I'm trying to use an oddball length rod, watch the video till the end because we'll come back to this. And then all the stuff we're up to, we've been busy as hell. So the 52 Chevy is about ready, well, it is ready to paint. Tomorrow morning, it gets sprayed. It's a running, driving car now. I know I didn't film anything, but the spring sandwich is gone in the back, the differential's mounted properly, the exhaust is in it, the motor's in it, it's running, transmission works, she's ready to rock. So tomorrow it'll be black, which will be exciting. Because this car, I'm sure yesterday I drove this car for the first time in 50 years minimum. So, it's pretty cool. It'll be a car again. Skirts are ready to paint, everything's ready to go. And then, the meth bird, which I'm seriously thinking we should change his name. I'm thinking Chicken Hawk. I don't want to give it too regal of a name, because of what a piece of crap it was. But Ty officially lost his mind on this thing. Because now it's actually going to be a nice car. He's even ordered nice new interior parts for it. I mean, it's going to be a nice car. With a slightly oversized engine.
Just marginally.
Well, it's a T-top. It'll break in half. I mean, look how detailed out it is back here and everything. He's starting at the back, working his way forward. Everything's all detailed out and slick. It's all going back together, all fancy.
I mean, I went to the time to even respray on the fuel door holder.
Man, you're putting a lot of time into a turd.
Oh, I resprayed also the black. And we just got done redoing the rear window.
World's heaviest rear window.
Yep. So now we're ready to put all that more or less back together.
He officially paid more for the hood than he did the car.
This is true.
I'm not lying, am I?
This is true.
I mean, but it's straight now. It doesn't have really big dents in it anymore. And multicolored panels. Kind of an expensive color choice. And then El Cheapo Summit wheels. And even more El Cheapo trailer tires on the front.
Mint.
So,
but it's got radials though, so.
We're going to spend a lot of money on paint and wheels, but we're not going to spend anything on tires.
In fairness, it's Summit wheels. I'm still a broke man.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's about it.
It's about where we're at.
That's about where we're at. So I'm kind of screwed on the engine. Give me a few weeks. Hopefully I'll have some rods and hopefully I'll have an engine that runs after all this. It doesn't blow up.
Mint.
Well, if you remember back last winter, I was sleeving a block, trying to get ready to build a motor for my 57, for my street car. And, well, it may not be what everybody would call a street engine, but it's what I call a street engine. Problem is, when you're trying to build stuff that everybody else's garbage, that they threw away, which is just part of being broke, You see some shit. Well, today is one of those days. So I said, it's been a year since I did this. I got it sleeved. It was all ready to just finish hone and clean the decks up. So last weekend I got busy and made a jig so I could put it in the planer. And I cut it just a little bit. Didn't want to go too much because I didn't want to have too much compression. Well, this is why you always check your shit. And I didn't. I figured by the end of the weekend I'd easily have an assembled engine. And maybe not. Because apparently somebody had milled this deck 200 thousandths. And this ain't gonna work. I had this set up in another block. Same rod, same pistons. I know it works. I know the pin height's good. So I start checking. I'm like, what the hell? It's milled clear down to the water pump hole. Or the top bowl hole for the water pump. I don't know. That doesn't look right. So we started measuring. Sure enough, 200 thousandths. So, now I got to figure this little mess out. How the hell I'm going to make an engine out of this thing? So I'm going to try, which isn't supposed to work. Junior says it ain't going to work. I'm going to stick a 5/7 rod and see if that skirt of that piston will clear this crank. I'll stick another rod on there that we've got. If that works, I'll assemble the top end of it here and try and figure out piston to valve and everything else. See how many more screw-ups there is before I order any more parts. And figure out what the hell I'm going to do to make an engine out of this thing. Or if I'm going to throw it on the scrap pile. I'm not impressed. But I'm sure valve geometry and everything else is going to be a frickin' stunt. So, like the old hee-haw song, gloom, despair, and agony on me, I guess. I felt like I went in the house and pouted last night. I saw this. I just, I went and looked. I have another block. Got it from the same race team. It's got the big cam bore, roller bearings. The son of a bitch is cut 200 thousandths. It's right down to the water pump hole. So they had some kind of deal they were doing. And but now, these were in the dirt modified. They have to run a 3.48 stroke, and you're always cheating trying to get compression because you've got to run a flat top piston. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of bullshit that goes on with those spec engines. And this, I'm trying to do a stroker. We're really not in a good situation here. But anyway, we'll see how it works. All right, let's experiment number one. Now, this rod will not put up with the shit that I'm about to put this engine through if I get it built. Because it probably won't do 8,000 RPM and get sprayed and live. But it's going to tell me if this thing is going to make it. Now, any of y'all that think you can't turn a stroker 8,000 RPM, I can prove you wrong many times. But you can't do it with these rods. And also, I'm not supposed to be able to use this rod, so we're going to find out. Pretty cheap way to do it. I've got them here. They're waiting to go in a customer engine. I'll just do a quickie mock-up here and see if this is going to even remotely work. What the hell? Oh. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Not even close. Yes, sir. Not with those crank throws the way they are. Yeah, I may really be screwed here. I'm going to go out on a limb because I don't think 3750 crank is going to be any better. Yes, sir. So, throw the other crank in it, and we're going to have to try to figure if a 585 rod is going to clear that crank. So I have a 3750 crank I can put in. This is a 3875. So we're still experimenting. I don't think I can clear the 5.7 rod on the throw, which I'm not supposed to be able to, but I thought I'd try it. So the fun continues. I'll put the other crank in it. I'm gonna try this again just for shits and giggles, I guess. And the other thing too, I can check to see how far away I am from getting the bearing up. I can measure that, and I can start to get an idea if I can make this work. I can cut the throws of the crank. We're going to throw the balance way the hell out. I have to go do all that again. A lot. It'd be, I may end up with Mallory and everything else if I do that. It's, I probably will end up with Mallory if I do that. So, I don't know. We gotta, anyway. We'll keep digging. We'll figure it out. So the one advantage of being a parts order and having a bunch of custom stuff around also is if you have to experiment, you can do it on the parts on hand, which helps. I had this 3750 stroke crank new. I bought it originally for this job. And then I was going to do something else with it. And then it looks like I'm back to it in this. I had the 3875 stroke crank. Ty lost the oil pump off his car, like it fell off. The stud pulled out of the thread, and he shut it off right away, but it actually cracked. It turned the rear main bearing just a hair. Didn't touch anything else in the crank. So I had to have that welded and repaired. I figured I'd rather run it in my car than in the turbo car. But now I'm back to the new 3750 crank, and it does look like the throws are a little smaller. There's a chance. I'm checking the clearance to the block. It actually is further away than the other crank. So there's a chance. Well, I say there's a chance. I don't actually want to use a 5.7 rod on this because it's going to be down the hole too far then. But there's a chance I can run a 5.85 rod. The other thing I can do is order a piston for a 4-inch stroke. And put that on the 6-inch rod and probably get that to clear. But again, I'm gonna assemble it and see if everything else works. My golly, ooh, it's close. Don't know if it touches or not. 585 rod will work though. I can see that. They have one set in stock. I'm gonna do a little math here if I get this one to turn. We'll see how far from the deck we are. That'll give me a really good idea of what I want to do next. So that part's good. Oof. Can't run the 5.7, but I can put it in there enough to test it. And I can see how far, oh, I'm down in there a long ways. I think the 585 would be just fine. We'll just measure it and see how far in the hole we are. And that'll tell us if the 585 rod will work. Then if the 585 rod's gonna work, the next step is to mock up a cylinder head. Unfortunately, I can't really check piston to valve, but that shouldn't change a hell of a lot because of decking. But I'll mock a cylinder head out, put a cam in it. I'll put the lifters up here in the number 1 hole, and we'll fiddle around a little bit and see what valve train geometry is going to do. But right there's top. So, how far in the hole is it? Should probably get a good depth mic to really check it. But this is easy, quick. I'm 220 thousandths in the hole. So if I put a rod that's a 585 versus a 57, that's a direct, it's not like a crank where you get half, it's full. So that'll put me up another 150. 585. Yeah, 150. So it'll still leave me pretty normal 50,000 hole. That's fairly common. $226. About 75 in the hole. Which will work. I have plenty of compression with this piston anyway. Now the question is, how far to the bottom am I missing, just to make sure the 585 rod is going to clear my crank throw. Doesn't really make sense. 4.5 inches idea. It's not zero. I was gonna say, quite a stroke for a small block. Especially considering it's supposed to be 3.75. 3.942. That still doesn't really. Oh yeah, okay, 3.942. So it's 375 plus 220. Okay, so I'm lacking 949 showing. We'll say 3950 to be safe. Over 3750. So 200 thousandths down. So I'm locking about 50 to get to the bottom. So that, it should clear just fine. That rod's a 150 longer. I don't see a problem. I believe that'll clear just fine. If that's the case, I'm going to look at, I need to buy rings for these pistons because I messed one of those up in the process of all this. So I'll see what is going to be the smarter move, to buy the 4-inch stroke piston and use a 6-inch rod, or buy the rod. Because I got to buy rings now because I messed up one ring. But she's pretty well to the bottom before it hits. It's way through the throw. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the 585 is going to work. I guess I'll go look at parts, figure out the next move. And then after that, mock a head up. I'll throw the cam in it. We're going to use and everything we're going to use. I don't obviously, well, I say I got a bunch of push rods around. I got some oddballs too, actually, from the sprint car guys. And more shit I bought. You know, extras. Parts ordered. I actually might have some push rods that work already. So again, I'll go through all that, figure out what the hell I need, how thick of a head gasket I want to run, because like if I want to go copper shim or whatever, which I don't think, anyway, I'm not going to protrude the deck with a 585, so I'm all right there. I could throw the 6-inch rod back on it, measure how much it's protruding, just to double check everything before I actually make an order, but I believe we're fine. Anyway, I think that's the process we're in now. We're going to go and look at a little bit of part shopping and try and figure out how the hell to get around this problem. Because, I mean, I got a whole lot of time in this block. I must have 4 days of work in this stupid block. I got 8 sleeves in it. You know, I bored it, decked it, honed it, cleaned it. I don't really want to walk away from it. Plus, I don't have another block. Plus, I don't really have $3,000 to, wow, by the time I convert the money to Canadian is worse. But anyway, I don't have shipping. Let's say I don't have $4,500 to put into another block. You know, I'd kind of like to have this engine. I've got the AFR heads. I got everything here. So, I mean, you know, all again, more old shit I bought. But anyway, it's all good. I'd like to figure this out and make this run if I can. I was going to put a tunnel ram on it. I'm not going to mill my tunnel ram trying to make it fit all this garbage. I'll do a single 4-barrel. That's the only thing that I'm giving up if I make this work. Because that's a pretty cool old tunnel ram unit. Unless maybe I can get Junior to make me one. That would be good. If I can get the little shit motivated and make me one, that'd be perfect. Be a great excuse to make a custom intake for it. But if everything else works, the intake will figure it out. That's not a big deal. I can make that happen. Sure as hell ain't gonna get it together this weekend like I thought I was gonna, but other than that, no big deal. If, you know, if I sort through it, think I can. Feel like that little train, think I can, but hell, why not? I've been looking over what is available and what isn't. Trying to figure out what I can do to get to a reasonable compression height. If I ordered a piston that would fit the 6-inch rod that I have, and this block deck height I have, I'd have to have a 975 pin height, which means custom made $1,500 pistons with buttons and everything, because there's no place to put a ring if you don't have the buttons. So that ain't happening. Now what I'm trying to figure out is my exact compression height I'm going to have with my rods if I buy the 585 rods. So I've run this thing up to 0 with a dial indicator, and I'm going to check it properly with a depth mic, see how far in I am with this 5.7 rod. Then we'll know how far we'll be into the 585 rod. The piston rocks a bit, so there's little rings on it. Let me try to get center. Best place to do it. So, what is the answer? 207. 207 in the hole. Time to start taking notes. .207 in the hole. I have a 5.7 rod in there. I want to go to a 5.85 rod in there. That's 150 longer. That'll leave me 57 in the hole, which ain't the end of it. I mean, I do want to run on pump gas sometimes. I'm not on the track. I'll put nitrous to it. Bombing around here, because I do drive the hell out of this car. I don't. It looks like probably not the smartest thing to do, but anyway, I drive it a lot. So that would leave me 585. That would leave me 57 in the hole. So 57,000 in the hole. Now the other problem we have, if I do that, because this deck is milled so damn far, regular head bolts don't work because you don't have enough depth. I tried sticking a head up there yesterday with no gasket crank you, but I didn't have enough depth. I couldn't. The head bolt wasn't even going to ever get even close to tight. It was an eighth of an inch off the head. So I'll put studs in it. So that's another $150. And I gotta buy rings for it, so it's like another $150 a belt. I gotta measure the piston, ring gaps, see what I need to buy. I actually can't buy like a single set. If they're the ones I think they're 1 mil, 1 mil, 2 mil. But I'm gonna check. I'll measure that, figure that out. I can actually buy rings for one cylinder if I want to. Just fix it a little bit. But I might buy a new set. I've got a file fit them apparently. The other block we had them in was not a fresh block. This was fresh 4.145.4. And I don't have enough ring gap. I don't even have 16 thousandths of ring gap. There's no way I'm gonna spray it. I'd probably get away with it on the street all right. There's no way I can spray it. So I've got to open up the ring gap. I'll probably just buy a new set of rings, redo that. But I'm gonna be spending another, I'm gonna buy rods and everything else. Head gaskets, a couple of odds and ends. I'll spend another $1,200–1,400, and I really know if I want to do that right now. I may put this on the back burner. I may go ahead and finish it. I have to go in the house, do my book work, kind of see where my end of the month is working out, see if it's in the budget or not, or if I wait till it is. I don't really want to have debt for this. So that's where I'm at. But I think I can live with that. I think that would do the job for us. Now what I'm going to do though, I'm going to pull this piston rod out of here. I will put a head on it. I'll put a cam in it, lifters in it, and see how all that crap works out. Figure out what I'm doing there. That may make the decision for me if I'm pulling the plug or not. If I need more stuff there, forget it. For now, this thing will happen. But if that all works out all right, maybe I'll go ahead with this project and take it. Take it through the end. Might need a distributor with an adjustable collar, not sure. I don't know that they have milled this by the looks of it, but I might mill the intake to fit. I may still need an adjustable collar distributor. So that could be, depends. I don't know if I can get that thing through, if I can get one through Motor State. It's basically an MSD dead copy. Maybe they plug right in. I get that fairly reasonable. Through them maybe. Anyway, I'll look and see. Or I'll make a collar. I'll have to do something. Either machine a collar, that has to be right down the oil pump. So we'll see what happens there. Don't think I'll try to mill the intake now. I think I'll wait and see what we actually end up doing in case we make an intake. If we make an intake, we'll make a collar the depth we need. That'll fix that problem. But I think that's where I'm going to end this for now, this part of the job. Then I'll throw the heads on it and check that part of the job. That's probably will be all I'm going to do on this weekend. I'm not going to run out of stuff. So I'll pull this out, measure my pistons, see what my readings I need, before I forget, and then I'll start with the head deal. See what happens with that.